All right. So the excitement awaits. I'm going to change strings on this guitar. Is my plan here. So let's see. That's it. Let's do it. At some point, I was given a set of these straight up strings. I think that there's still 6 strings left in that package. I do not like changing strings, which is why I'm doing it as a live thing on the internet, I guess. It needs to be done. Not my favorite. Okay. I always hear about that switch plate cover not being there. Rip these things off. Should you take them off one at a time, or should you take them all off? I've heard different things. I've heard that you're supposed to do one at a time, one off, one on, keep the tension. I'm not particularly concerned about this guitar because it's inexpensive. On my Martin, maybe I would do that. I tend to just kind of get them all off of there and then start fresh. Gives you a chance to clean the fretboard. I don't think I do anything different in changing strings, except I do not tie them on when I put them on. And it's always okay on the wound strings. Sometimes the B and the E will slip if you do that. But years ago what happened is I was doing a gig and I could not get a string off on stage. And it was because I had tied it on. And I realized that that was not a good situation to be stuck where I couldn't get a string off the guitar in the middle of a set. So I just decided to stop tying them on. And so yeah, basically what I do is I put the string through the hole and I just turn it. And you know what? It works pretty well. And I don't think I have any more tuning problems than anybody else once they're all stretched out. So now I got all these here. This is where you got to get these things off. Of course, these should come out easy. I don't have a winder. I do have a little thing here. I'd kind of rather not use that to pull pins because obviously the metal is much harder than the plastic and I don't want to scrape them up. At some point, maybe I'll get a different kind of bridge pin for this guitar. Although I kind of don't care about stuff like that, about bridge pins and that one's, but see that one's not coming. So now I'm getting an issue here. I got these off good. So now the thick strings, I gotta get out. So I try to poke these back down here. If I can poke them back down, then you can get the last two out. There is no magic here. So we just got back from IBMA, the International Bluegrass Music Association Festival in Raleigh, North Carolina. My first time to Raleigh, North Carolina. First time. And I got all the strings here. Okay, I'm gonna start from the 6th string and work my way over. The fretboard isn't too grimy, so I'm just gonna leave it alone. And I'll show you what needs to be seen here, but stick the pin in the hole, or stick the string in the hole, put the pin in, kind of pull up on it, try to keep that down, and It's pretty good. Now here's where I do it different. Okay, no knots. I put it in the hole, pull it straight through. Now that's taut. Then I go back about a couple of inches, and then I start turning it. I'm holding it here in the nut, but I'm not putting any kind of lock twist on it. I'm not putting anything on it at all. I've done this like this for years, for better part of probably since I was 16, 17 years old. I don't know, like maybe 18, whatever, but I've done it for over 20 years like this, because I don't want the string to be locked on so I can't get it off. And that's almost it. And we'll stretch it out, but there, the string's on there. I turn that up. That's it. And we repeat the rest of the way down there. So I had a good week in Raleigh. Those guys went down with Marcel Ardens of Lessons with Marcel, and the other teachers, Mickey Abraham and Hayes Griffin. Three there. Really, really amazing players and teachers. And so glad to meet up with those guys down there. We all teach together, kind of with Marcel, and we meet, once a month or a couple times a month and talk online. But to get together, Mickey's in Florida and Marcel's in North Carolina, I'm in Illinois, and Hayes in Ohio. We had not all met together, so it was really special to get to do that. Then got to participate in some conversations and interviews with some people that are going to come out on the Lessons with Marcel channel over the next couple months. And we talked to Cody Kilby, and we talked to Chris Eldridge from the Punch Brothers, and we talked to Jake Workman. And then earlier in the week, they talked to Jake Eddy, and they talked to Trey Hensley, and there might have been somebody else in there too. But the slouches. Just your ordinary average flat picker, these guys, right? But I learned so much listening to those guys and being in the room with those guys and talking to them. Just hearing what they're about, and seeing their personality come through their playing, and hearing the tone in the room. And it's nice about bluegrass, you still can get close to most bluegrass artists, where you can hear them play something. And hear what it sounds like in the room. And those guys, all three of them sound as big as a house, up close and personal. And it was so neat to see how they get their tone, and hope that I can catch a little bit of that and add it into what I do. You can't get everything from everybody, but my hope is that I can get learn something from the way somebody thinks that's different than me, as I have all along this journey here. My first tonal hero was really, for guitar, was really Ron Block. To hear what Ron sounded like on a guitar was really phenomenal. Like on those early Alison Krauss recordings, and the one that got me was Atlanta, his break on Atlanta, which I showed somebody once, and they said, well, it's just a blues guitar solo. Like, no, it's really, I guess it is, but there's something different the way he did his bends, bending the strings on a Stratocaster is not bending the strings on a Dreadnought guitar. Because your Stratocaster, you're playing to the pickup. The pickup is 2 millimeters away. You're playing, that's how far you have to drive a string with your, acoustic guitar, you have to drive the top of that guitar, and that top of that guitar has to drive air. And that air has to reach a microphone. And so it's physically much more demanding than playing an electric guitar. So to me, for Ron Block to pull the kind of tone that he did on, that kind of thing was really special, and that's who I really modeled what I wanted to sound like, among other people, but among Tony and David Greer and stuff. But I really loved Ron Block's tone. And then we're almost done here. Down to the last string. See, now they're just sitting down there. Like I said, I didn't tie anything on. Now the friction will hold the wound strings on. The unwound strings, the plain steel strings, they could slip. And it's a little bit of a risk I take here. Ooh, there's a bend in this string. It's like a little bend there. That might affect the string. It might affect intonation. It's probably okay. I doubt that that's probably, for me pulling it out of the package there, I probably bent it a little bit. I had a student one time who was a surgeon, and he broke a string off, and he just tied a knot in it and tied it back on. The knot had a name. I don't even know what it was. Let's see, people are talking here. Michael or CL Outdoors, they just sent you a set of strings. Send them my way. They'll sit here for a month before I open them. So I do like new strings. I don't love changing them. I think that's my thing. Okay, so they're all on there. Now we're going to stretch them out, okay? I worked at a music store. The guy said, you got to stretch them 6 times. 6 times! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I stretch them 6 times. That's what the boss man said. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now they will be completely out of tune again, and we'll have to retune. So we just stretched out all that good tension that was hiding somewhere in the windings or underneath the bridge. So I think the philosophy behind these strings is that, oh boy, I think that it's supposed to be an equal tension on each string. So they don't care what the gauge is. They're trying to get like what would the torque tension be on each string. This is really, it's like strings for nerds here, but it says each string's linear tension compensated relative to adjacent strings, which balances the torque twisting action of the bridge. Quarter wrap combinations engineered to improve brightness, sustain, balance, and tone color between the plain B and the wound D. Equal compensated tensions deliver improved intonation on all strings. Equal feel for picking, bending, choking, and fretting. Tensions and torque loads are calculated on a bell-shaped curve to adjust for ISSO 226 to 2003 equal loudness contours. Okay, so straight up strings. We'll see what they sound like. We'll see how they do. I'm not fussy about stuff like this, so I've never had a problem with regular strings, but maybe they're the bee's knees, and maybe I'll need to change. One thing is this guitar has had bad strings on so long that they just automatically sound better. Okay, so now I got this nonsense to deal with. I hold them straight up in the air. I put the cutter on top of the pin, and I snap it. And that's that. Isn't this something for this is gonna put somebody to sleep tonight. Somebody's gonna be sleeping good tonight from watching this video. The unintentional ASMR of changing guitar strings. Said, that man is so boring. Never slept better. If you stretch out the strings, it's not too bad. I actually used to change strings before rounds of a guitar contest, between rounds of a guitar. Because I wanted the best fresh sounds. I didn't want morning sounds in the afternoon. So these do have less tension than the ones I put on. I can tell already that they have less tension. I don't know if I'm gonna like that because I like a little tension on the rhythm side of things, little dig. Probably won't notice it after 4 minutes. Let's see. Might as well play a tune. Any requests out there from anybody sitting there? 3 o'clock in the afternoon, wondering what to do with their life. Let's see. I want that to... Let's do something fun. I don't know what. I'm gonna play a tune that I wrote that nobody would ever request, but you never heard of it. And it's kind of... Oh, Dave Shepard's there. Dave, St. Anne's Reel wins. I'm gonna do Shady Grove, obviously. Marcus, the version of Shady Grove that I have, I do not remember how to play. But St. Anne's Reel, I'm gonna bust out and do St. Anne's Reel. How you doing, Marcus? Late night there. I'm gonna do the old capo off the E string trick. Oh man, you know what? Al Petaway. I don't know any Al Petaway, but what a treasure that guy was, and I know he just passed away. So we'll do my own in honor of Al Petaway. Do a little Shady Grove. That's awesome. Marcus, put him in the mail. Here we go, Shady Grove. Or well, maybe you'll get both of them. Here we go, St. Anne's Reel.